AFN Television News.
House members chicken out on a pay raise. Mike?
And nothing foul about the way the California Angels are taking care of things in their own division. They're beating their opponents head on. These stories and more coming up next.
AFN News. From the wires of the AP and UPI with videotape reports from the ABC network.
The House today voted to give itself a 7% pay raise, and then minutes later, members voted to kill the bill it was attached to, and they had to go on record by name. That leaves members of Congress at their current $57,500 level, but they soon get an automatic 12.9% cost of living increase. An undisclosed amount of highly enriched uranium that could be used to make an atomic bomb could be missing from a nuclear power plant in Irwin, Tennessee. Federal officials say that for now they believe the loss of 20 pounds of uranium isn't a loss at all, but just an accounting error. But they've shut down the facility and ordered an investigation. Representatives of Air Canada say that stress crack in a DC-9 that lost its tail cone after takeoff from Boston yesterday showed up in X-rays taken 4 months ago. But the airline says the crack was overlooked during maintenance. Meanwhile, the Federal Aviation Administration has ordered all airplanes with DC-9s that have logged more than 15,000 landings to check those planes for stress cracks similar to those found on the 3 Air Canada jets. The United States says it has reached an apparent agreement with Egypt and Israel on a Sinai peacekeeping force. Washington officials say the agreement involves use of American observers. Barry Dunsmore reports on what's still to be accomplished before the Middle East settlement is considered complete.
More ABC News, the State Department.
A bomb set by PLO terrorists tore through a crowded shopping mall in Jerusalem today. 1 person was killed, 34 were wounded. It was the worst bombing in Jerusalem this year. The UN General Assembly's Credentials Committee has upheld the claim by ousted Cambodian Premier Pol Pot to a seat on the Assembly and has denied the rival claim of the regime that ousted him. Pol Pot and his forces are fighting a guerrilla war against the Vietnam-backed regime in Phnom Penh. In London, the Zimbabwe-Rhodesia peace talks are continuing with indications that some progress is being made. Black guerrilla leaders are reportedly softening their demands. But the slim chance of a settlement in Rhodesia doesn't seem to be enough to keep the white Rhodesians from fleeing that country. Richard Anderson looks into the white exodus.
Richard Anderson, ABC News, Salisbury, Zimbabwe, Rhodesia.
The top-ranking Republican on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Senator Jacob Javits of New York, says he feels that the controversy over the Soviet combat brigade in Cuba has abated, and he feels a compromise with the Russians will soon be reached. John Scally reports that administration sources are considering a number of options to put the economic or military squeeze on the Russians if they refuse to resolve that troops issue.
Officials have now started to consider ABC News, Washington.
The Pentagon hasn't been able to recruit enough people to staff the all-volunteer Army, so military has decided to take high school dropouts with less than a 10th grade education. Male recruits in that category will be accepted as of October 1st, female dropouts at a later date. Gold prices fell back a bit from yesterday's high marks on the big London and Zurich exchanges. The close today, $370 on both exchanges. One expert said the gold market is going to go cold turkey for a little bit. The dollar, meanwhile, held steady against major world currencies. Here in Germany, tomorrow's military rate remains 1 mark 79. The dollar slipped back a little bit, but not enough to change the rate. A dozen fires in Southern California brushlands have forced the evacuation of hundreds of families. Thousands of firefighters are battling the flames, fanned by erratic winds and record heat. Stephen Gear talked with owners whose homes fell victim to spreading flames. Efforts to end the big teacher strikes in San Francisco and Detroit continue, and there are scores of other strikes still in progress. The National Education Association reports almost 39,000 teachers on the picket lines, affecting 825,000 students in 11 states. Residents of Miami and 16 other communities in Dade County, Florida, have soundly defeated a mistakenly worded proposal that would have cut taxes by better than 99%. Rebecca Chase explains the original proposal was for a much smaller cut, but an error in the wording wasn't discovered until it was too late to change the ballot.
Harry Wilson and his tax revolt committee are responsible for the news, Miami.
Officials in Memphis say they may have to exhume the body of rock and roll king Elvis Presley and subpoena his autopsy papers. They want to get to the bottom of those reports that he received huge quantities of drugs from his doctor before he died. Sports next with Mike Allwood.